Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It's Rockman's Spot Connection with a weekly comic book roundup. And now we're going to get to this week's Spider-Man books. Well, the ones that I get, as well as the first and third Secret Warps annuals. We're going to kick things off with Spider-Man Life Story number 5, the 2000s. Where we left off, Dr. Octopus had kidnapped Peter Parker as well as his clone Ben Reilly, and informed that done some tests and informed them that, oh, turns out Peter's the clone and Ben's actually Peter. However, Doc Ock ended up killing Harry Osborn accidentally. And when all was said and done, Peter talked to basically switch places with Ben Reilly. Took Peter's place in name and everything. And then after the death of Norman Osborn, when Peter went to confront him about everything, and it also informed him that, yeah, he knows that he's not the clone, but also told him that Harry was dead, Peter joined Mary Jane and their kids in Oregon. So now, starting 2000, the year is 2006. Spider-Man is fighting Morlun in the streets, and not doing too well. And in fact, then he died. However, he dies, but Morlun sucks the life out of him. However, Morlun is also well aware that this is not the actual Spider. So the Parkers now live out in the woods. Let's see. And Peter and MJ's daughter has a full ride, a full scholarship to Stanford waiting on her. But as they're talking, Peter's called inside, and the news is reporting Spider-Man's dead, and that he's been revealed to be industrialist Peter Parker. But Claire tells Peter that there's something she caught. In 2001, September 2001 to be exact, Peter Parker went back to New York for J. Jonah Jameson's funeral when the towers fell. And he helped. But she confronts him about the fact that, he's moved out into the middle of nowhere because, hey, if he doesn't see people in danger, he's not going to want to help them. In Washington, D.C., Secretary of Defense Tony Stark is commenting about the talks about the fact that apparently one of the most notorious unregistered heroes is also one of Tony's business rivals. And that's not playing too well in the media. Some conspiracy-minded people think that Tony enforcing the act as Secretary of Defense is clearly just to ruin his competition and get richer. And a recent battle happening in New Jersey between registered and unregistered heroes. Captain America's side retreated. Daredevil was captured. But it turns out that Daredevil is a blind civil rights lawyer. Turns out that the Daily Beagle just broke a story. Peter Parker isn't dead. But Betty Brant is now running the Bugle. And the cover story being that Spider-Man who died was actually a clone of Peter, who had Spider-Man's powers. So Peter goes to Parker Industries, hoping to draw Moreland out. But Iron Man's waiting on him. Iron Man's smart glasses vanish and show that, yeah, Peter's Spider-Man. And his Avengers show up. Looks like War Machine, Black Widow, She-Hulk, and I think it's Iron Fist, but it doesn't entirely track. So they're all wearing, well, with the exception of She-Hulk, and Captain Marvel, they're all wearing armor. Back at the Parker household in Portland, Moreland has shown up, however. And so, Spider-Man's involved in a pitched battle with Iron Man and his forces when Captain America shows up to break things up. Captain America, Luke Cage, Hawkeye, and Cloak and Dagger. And so while Spider-Man fights the Avenger, we have another battle in the Civil War, or the superhero Civil War. Peter and Mary Jane's twin children attack Moreland, and they do manage to get some hits in. And Moreland starts to drain Claire. While that's happening, though, Claire scratches his face. And they make the realization that he's indestructible, except while he's feeding. And so Peter and MJ's son Benji draws him out, lets Moreland feed on him, and then Claire comes in, hits him with part of a tree, which leads to him being impaled through the heart on a shard of wood. Peter makes the realization that there's no way that Iron Man would give all the other heroes Iron Man armor without some sort of failsafe. So he switches up everyone's armor except for Tony's, and so that he will not be at Tony's beck and call. For no other reason, there's the fact that Tony proved he can't be trusted. And so, before they leave, Peter tells Cap what's going on, that there's an energy vampire chasing him. And so, as they step into the Dark Force dimension that is Cloak, Spidey says to Cap, we're both old men. We need to do what old men should do and leave the world a better place before we go. And that's where the issue ends. Man, I love this series. It's so... I'd really love to see it fleshed out more, but yeah, that would be nigh on impossible. Moving on to Spider-Man City of War number 5. So where we left off, things were not looking good. Dr. Octavius had gone nuts thanks to his arms. And, the recap. Otto Octavius has been consumed by the pursuit of vengeance against Norman Osborn, his former business partner. Transforming himself into the metal-armed Dr. Octopus, he is determined to expose Osborn's dirty dealings, including the creation of both the criminal Mr. Negative and the Devil's Breath bioweapon. And so Dr. Octopus has unleashed the Devil's Breath virus on New York City, and only Spider-Man stands in his way. So, there's a breakout at Rikers Island. At the Wrath, to be exact. Well, Spidey runs into the Vulture, Electro, Rhino, Scorpion, and Mr. Negative, who end up working together quite well against Spider-Man. But they need him alive. And Doc Ock shows up and basically smacks Peter into the river. Weeks later, we learn that the escape at Rikers was a success, and the police department is horribly overwhelmed trying to round all the escapees up. And apparently the city's hospitals remain closed, with citizens in need of medical assistance being directed to temporary emergency clinics, including the Feast Shelter downtown. Miles brings May some meds, but May explains that they'll be out of meds by midnight. There are people protesting in front of one of the closed hospitals, and some of Silver Sable's troops standing guard in front. And they're told that perhaps a small show of force is in order. But Sable tells them to stun the crowd. If anyone crosses the line, stun them. Well, Spider-Man shows up and it's like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. And then he knocks down the doors of the hospital and lets everyone go in. Anyways, MJ is in Osborn's penthouse and found his skeleton closet, which includes a video of him experimenting on Martin Lee when he was a kid. No, him and Otto experimenting on Martin Lee. Spiders everywhere, which leads MJ to think maybe they're trying to reverse engineer Spider-Man's powers. And there's a Oscorp property map. And there's the possibility he's cooking it, and she learns that they are making an anti-serum on the Upper West Side. But MJ knocks over one of the containers with a spider inside of it, just as Silver Sable comes in, wondering who's there. But MJ manages to evade Sable, and then MJ escapes and leaps from the skyscraper and is caught by Spidey in a excellent recreation of the cover to Amazing Fantasy number 15, I might add. Seriously, love that shot. Love that shot. And so, pretty sure they got an address on the anti-serum, but the spider that got loose hitched a ride with MJ, and when they arrived at the feast shelter, bites Miles. Well, turns out, however, MJ and Spider-Man aren't the only ones who know about the anti-serum lab. And Spider-Man ends up fighting Mr. Negative there, who's got Osborn held prisoner, as well as Otto. And Otto, it turns out, plans to destroy the anti-serum. And meanwhile, at the feast shelter, May gives in to the Devil's Breath virus. And that is where the issue ends. I'm also really enjoying this. I know it basically tells the story of the game, but it's a game that, if I do get to play, it's going to be a while before I get to, so, you know. Moving on to a holdover, well, something of a holdover. So, 2 weeks ago, the first of the Secret Warps annuals, Soldier Supreme, was released. However, there were issues which led to me not being able to get my copy last week. So, issues involving reorders. Luckily, the reorders came in this week, and so we have Secret Warps Soldier Supreme Annual number 1. First off, we get a rundown about Soul World, as well as a quick rundown of who Soldier Supreme is. As he's promptly attacked by Madam Hell. He has a quick flashback to a New Year's party at at 2 Baxter's Plaza, a combination of the Baxter Building and 4 Freedoms Plaza, the two headquarters of the Fantastic Four. All the Infinity Warps are there. They're partying. Sigurd, however, is not just kind of him and Steven are both just kind of watching. They talk a bit, and then Sigurd Ironhammer introduces Steven to Madame Hell, the woman who owns his heart. The two, however, are now duking it out. However, Bucky Wong, the Winter Soldier, shows up and manages with ghost bullets to save the day. Well, help at least distract Madame Hell enough so that, well, destroy her scythe and distract her enough so that Steven is able to wrap her in the Shosatow rack. But she teleports away. It appears to be Asgardian energy that teleported her. So he makes a call, and Arachnite, it turns out, is facing off against Ulysses Klorb, longtime enemy of Ghost Panther. Ghost Panther himself is facing off against Arachnite's longtime foe, Bushman the Hunter. And of course, the Mad Ghost is up against Weapon X. The Terrific Two are facing off against Cameron Belasco, longtime Weapon X foe. Little Monster is fighting King Dragon, while Devil Fist is battling Cyclone. The X-Brotherhood is facing Imus the Champion. The Green Widow fights alone against the Skrullfire Club. Everyone seems to be facing off against a different enemy they're not used to facing. Except for Ironhammer, who's in a lakeside cabin in Norway on vacation, eating lutefish, and perhaps waiting for word on their deaths. So, Steven arrives, and basically he goes in half-cocked and ready to fight. Though Ironhammer promptly armors up and is sucker shot by U.S. Archmage John Kalu, the other Soldier Supreme. We had a quick rundown of John's origin. It turns out that Kalu is a dark magician, and according to his mystic philosophy, the ends can justify the means. Sadly, he got out of control fast, so he was trapped in a temporary stasis spell, which wore off soon after Soldier Supreme's return. But they become uneasy allies. And so, the two of them continue to fight Ironhammer. Meanwhile, we learn the truth that yes, it wasn't Madame Hell, but rather the Streak that attacked Soldier Supreme at the behest of Dormammu Red. We get a brief story where creatures similar to the Mindless Ones attack Washington, D.C., though at the behest of Baroness Umar. Though the Baroness is facing off with Soldier Supreme once again. And while it does take some doing, Soldier Supreme does manage to defeat her. Anyways, as we saw last week in the Weapon Hex Annual, the Weapon Hex and her sister managed to defeat the Mad Ghost and his amazing ape droids, and another player came in, Captain Peace of the Time Flight Authority. And it turns out that everything that they've done just caused a Martian invasion in the year 2099. So after yet another explanation of the Soul Stone and Ghost Panther Annual #1, we cut to King T'Challa, aka Johnny Blaze, chained up by Bushman the Hunter. Who monologues for a bit, and while he's monologuing, well, T'Challa is able to break free, and Zarathos takes and become the Panther, the Spirit of Vengeance. And now the enchanted weapons, the hell enchanted weapons that Bushman had, aren't working. Back at Defender Citadel, Captain Peace informs the Defenders of what's actually happening. In the year 2099, Earth is invaded, hostile takeover by the alien CEOs of the Alchemars Corporation. Wakanda remains free in the face of the threat, and closed off while the rest of the world is torn asunder by the invasion force. Few love Wakanda for that. Eric Killraven, exiled as a child, forced on the cruel mercy of the Martian death sports, hates the hardest. He swears a terrible revenge on Wakanda, attacking in the one place in the realm is vulnerable to Martian technology, the past, when he killed T'Challa's father. Using a time diamond to travel through time. The diamond was stolen, it turns out. On Hellfire 2099, using the Storm Sigil, was supposed to fight off the invasion. However, Hellfire was killed and his Storm Sigil was destroyed. Or taken and then later destroyed. So in 2099, Earth is conquered by the Martians. However, what are they called? Time Flight Authority says that it wasn't. So Ghost Panther takes the time diamond, travels to the future, in an attempt to fix things. Upon arriving, he meets Miguel Ravage, aka Arachnite 2099, Soldier Supreme 2099, Nico Cage, Weapon Hex 2099, aka Ironheart Strange, Iron Hammer 2099, Dargo Stark, which of course a fight begins. We get a fight, at least between Iron Hammer 2099 and Ghost Panther. Or before the fight can really get going, Ghost Panther 2099, aka Ava Cochran, arrives. He says, "Whoa, you know this is the original Ghost Panther." But he manages to end the Martian invasion or the Martian conquest. However, it turns out that he just only tweets history. But before Captain Peace can leave, the sky cracks open and the Supreme Seven arrive. We also get a rundown of who's merged with who. Obviously, Bushman the Hunter is emerging of Bushman and Moon Knight villain Bushman and Kraven the Hunter. Arachnite 2099 is a combination of Spider-Man 2099 and Ravage 2099. Soldier Supreme 2099 is a combination of Nico Minoru, or Sister Grimm, of the Runaways, and the Danielle Cage Captain America. Weapon Hex 2099 is a combination of Hulk 2099 and Strange 2099. Iron Hammer 2099 is a combination of Iron Man 2020 and Dargo Couture. Ghost Panther 2099 is a combination of Ghost Rider 2099 and White Tiger. We've also got another story, about a backup story featuring Ghost Panther at Harlem Church meeting the vampire hunter Nightblade. And the two of them face off with some first fight each other and then fight some vampires. And but before that, we do learn Nightblade's origin. But yeah, it's a combination of Misty Knight and Blade, which is also actually pretty cool. Next week we'll have the Arachnite Annual, which will further expand upon the Supreme Seven. And that's it for this week's comic book roundup. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal are in the description box down below. Hit the bell icon to be notified when I put new content. This is Rockwell Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.